good evening, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Here we are on Tuesday, August the 19th, and we are here with another Learning Live. I don't know about you guys, but it has been raining here in Whitby. Darlene, has been raining there in Stouffville.
Oh, yes, and it's so nice.
It's so nice. The gardens are just, I can hear them saying, ah, the grass is just crying with happiness.
Right?
So, it's definitely a welcome rain, and hopefully we'll be able to open the windows tonight. But maybe if you are somewhere else, you can chime in and let us know how the weather is for you and how things are doing here as we almost are at the end of August. I can't get over that. Time is just flying. We've got lots of people joining in tonight, so thank you and welcome. We've got people saying hello. Well, I guess that's just Darlene saying hello, but hello, Darlene. We have a really fun session for you tonight. PhotoPlay Maker Series. We carried them in the past, and then we kind of got away from it, and they have introduced, I think it's 4 new formats for their interactive cards. And I mean, I'm not going to get into why we love these. Darlene will take you through, she's going to take you through 1, possibly 2 tonight, depending on how our timing goes. But if you ever wanted to do interactive cards without having to do the math, without figuring things out, these Maker Series card sets are for you. So I'm just going to hand it over to Darlene. She's going to get right into it for you. And let's see what fun she can create for you. All yours, Darlene.
Thank you, Sherry. So welcome, everyone. And I am here to show you how easy these Maker Series cards are like when you put them together. So the one I am going to do is the flip flap pocket cards. I think you will enjoy it. If we have time towards the end, we will do a peekaboo pocket card. To show you what we are doing, here is one that we made a sample in the store. So it has this little pocket. And if you pull it out, you have this little easel that pops out. So I thought it was really cool. And there is another pocket here for a gift card, or, you can add something inside. But I found this pocket is nice and deep that I'm thinking that even if you put one of those little tea bags in it, it should fit, like those really thin ones. It should fit in there and still be able to fit in that pocket. It is called
Would it be a hot
sorry?
chocolate pocket, or is it not big enough for that?
Maybe a small one. Do I have? I'll check after. I might have a little. Hold on. I remember I had a little Kit Kat bar, those little treat ones. Oh, maybe not. I have a Cadbury one. I wonder if that would fit. So it's a little bit thicker. I wonder if it will still go in. It's a little
Sorry,
bit
I
more
meant
slim.
hot chocolate, like a
Oh,
hot
yes.
chocolate packet.
Hot chocolate, the hole might be a little bit too small here.
Too small?
Unless you
Okay.
find those, I think not carnation because they're big, maybe a little bit smaller. It might work too. But I
There you
like
go.
that concept. So one thing is that it is a pocket card, and the sizing's great that you could put it on a card front. So if you really wanted to make it look like a card, you can add this to a card front and still have that mechanism in the front and then have that card to open. So let's start with this one. And what I'm going to do is show you how to put it together, as we call it in our store. We call it the naked copy. And basically what that is taking it and just creating that card with the white cardstock that they provide you. So what's really nice about these Maker Series is that each of the kits will come with several of them, so you can make multiples. It's hard to tell which ones. Like, for instance, this one makes 3. The other card gives you 6 of them. So each kit is different, but they for sure give you 3 or 6 depending on the style of the card. So I just take one of each card. Another thing to know about these cards is that there is instructions. Unfortunately, this one was printed upside down, but they give you full instructions. And I went to YouTube. I just searched up flip flap pocket cards, and I found a video from PhotoPlay, and I found other videos from other designers out there. And the videos are helpful, but their instructions are also helpful. And you have me tonight to show you how easy this is. So the first one I'm going to do is a naked copy, just to show you what it looks like and how easy it is to put together. I'm going to highlight areas so you can see them, because I know with white it is very, very hard. But even putting one aside, like this is the one that we put aside. I also did one for myself with my kit, is that keep it with your cards. It will give you a reminder of how you stuck things together and how things were attached. So it's like a sloppy copy, but for your personal. And that way, if you down the road, you have 3 more and you're trying to put it together, you're like, how do I do it? You have that little sloppy copy to do it. So in this kit, there are several pieces. This is the base. It has this pocket, has this little accordion. Everything is pre-scored. There's this blank piece here, and you'll see why we need this blank piece. Not necessary if you're going to attach it to a card. And there's also this piece over here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold on those score marks. So I like to fold against my mountain. I know that's a debate, is whether there's a right way or a wrong way. The best tip I have here is burnish those score marks. It makes all the interactive movements of your card go a little bit more easily. So you want to make sure you score those and use burnish. This one was already folded in the kit, so I'm just going to fold right on top of it and just reinforce that and put that aside. This one here, I'm not sure if you can see, but there are several score marks. I'm going to fold on each one. So folding away into the mountain. And then what I'm going to do is burnish them with my tool. This is your mechanism, this little piece here. And that's what's going to help that pocket pull out nicely out of its carrier. So let's fold that. I thought it was a very genius mechanism. So that is your little mechanism. We're going to put that aside. This one over here is the pocket. It has 2 small folds and then 1 at the bottom. We're going to also fold on that. Has anyone tried creating some of the Maker Series cards? I know we had other ones before, like the waterfall. There was the shutter card. It's nice to see that they keep bringing these back in different ways, different fun folds. So here's the pocket. We're going to work on that after, and we're just going to fold on all the pieces. And that's all the fold. Okay, let's start off with this big piece. And what you want to do with this big piece is we're going to have to cut and trim. You will see that this side is a little bit bigger than the opposite side, and here's a good way to show it. See how we're missing about 1.25 of an inch. We are going to cut on the longer side. So here is what we're going to cut off. We don't want this piece here. So this is where you take your scissors and we're going to cut. So I'm just cutting right on top of that score mark. Oopsies. Cut that part off, okay? And right on this score mark, so I'm just cutting that piece here, almost like a pizza box that we're creating. Oops, can I see this one? Same thing on the opposite side. We're going to cut this out. Here. The next thing we want to do is this, oops, didn't cut properly here. Oh, maybe here. Okay. Next thing we want to do with this card is this is essentially the pocket, this big pocket. And what we like to do is cut an angle. Do I have a pen here? We're going to cut a little angle to make the folds go easily. So right from where that cut line ends, we're going to go up on a diagonal, as if we're making a little pocket, and same thing on the other side. We're going to cut, whoopsies, to create that little pocket right over here. So it will fold in looking like that. So that is the only cut we're going to do. Everything else is assembly. So next thing we're going to do is add some score tape. So anything interactive, I like to use the double-sided tape. It is strong and there's no forgiveness, so be very, very careful. And what you're going to do is put the double-sided tape on this flap and this flap right here. So here and here. And we're going to put that aside. Next thing is, this is our mechanism. We're going to put score tape on it as well. So with the bumpy side, see how their bumpy side is here? We're going to keep that at the top and we're going to put score tape on this end as well as this end. So I hope you can see the highlight, or do you prefer me to grab a marker so you can see? No, yellow's hard on the white, but right at the two ends. So the two opposite ends, that's where your score tape is going to go. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is grab this piece over here.
Sorry, Darlene, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second.
Yep.
Sheila is asking, oh, is it a 1/4-inch tape?
Let me measure, because, you know, be creative and use.
It's metric. So 1/4 inch is 9.5.
Yes, this is the quarter. This is a 1/4 of an inch.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So right over there. So this is the piece that we're going to grab next. It's the one that we had only one score line. And this one measures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7.5. So it's the one with the fold. We're going to take our little mechanism. We're going to peel off the one side. So let's say the right side, the closest to on my right side. And we're going to stick this on top of here. So my highlight on my interactive is going to match this highlight. So we're folding this in half and it's going to match on top. So the way I like to do it is put it side by side. We want to make sure it's centered top and bottom. So I'm measuring here and here is equal distance. And I have it right aside, and I'm going to open this flap right on top and just use my finger to burnish it down. And now I have that mechanism attached to that flap. And I'm just going to burnish that down to make sure my adhesive is stuck on. The next thing we are going to do is now take our pocket and we're going to line up our pocket right over here. And this is where there was no measurement. We want to just make sure that you have a little bit of distance here. I couldn't find anywhere in the instructions that gave a measurement, so I just eyeballed it to see. Because that is, and then it's going to go inside here. So I just eyeballed it. I don't think, so I just made up some number here. And let's say, if you want, let me just put this here now. I can give you what I'm doing. So I'm doing about 1.5. I'm making sure the top and bottom is equal distance. So there and there has a gap. And we want to make sure, I think when we put this down, oh, that's perfect, 1.5. We are going to now, this is what we're going to do is we want to make sure that this edge here touches this edge here. And that's the way, so 1.5 seems to be the best measurement. And that was me guessing here. So if I put that here and here, if you close it, you want to make sure that this edge is touching that highlight. So highlight on top of highlight. If you are seeing that sticking out a little bit, just kind of fiddle with it so it's no longer showing. Hold it in place. You're going to take off this double-sided tape. And now you're going to push this over top like that. So now it's all stuck together in that mechanism. So yes, it looks very, very funny. How we're going to close this pocket now is we're going to turn it to the back side, and we are going to pull this and close it on the back side here. Remove the other side and fold it over. And this is what creates that pocket for you. So now everything's closed, and this will push in all the way. So this is a mechanism. It's quite easy. So what they did is they wanted to, you could leave it as is, but here is a couple things that you could do. They do give you this panel to place on the back of here so you don't see those pockets. Or, give me 2 seconds, I'm just going to grab a card base and show you how else you can change this up. Where is our card bases? Give me 2 seconds. I want to show you how you can alter this. So let's say you don't want to use this. Because it's an A2 size card, you can glue this on top of a card base and have that card open up and have that interactive. So it's really up to you how you want it. I'm just going to smush it down to make sure everything sticks. But let me show you what it's intended, and maybe with our decorative one, when I do it again, I'll put it on a card and we can see the difference. So with this mechanism, because we're going to be yanking on it, or your recipient's going to be yanking on it, I like to use double-sided tape, glue also. Those are my go-to. I think I use score tape for everything. But and let's stick this on. So that's why there's that white panel there. I should have brought my T-ruler with me, but I'm just going to eyeball that, stick it on. Okay. So you could leave it like this, but what they've done is they gave you this pocket here to add to the bottom of here, so you have another element. So to create this pocket, you're going to just cut the angle. Let me draw. You're going to kind of do a crisscross here. So you're going to cut right over this cross here and right over this cross here. So this X here, you're just going to cut through it. Let's see if you can see that. We're going to do diagonal cuts on those where the two score line meets. Like that. And we're going to add, that way when you close it up, it has that nice seam. It's not overlapping and causing bulk. This one needs a little bit of a smidge of a cut. And we're going to add score tape on these flaps here. And that score tape is going to stick down on the actual pull area. So I'm going to put one here, and one over here. Burnish it well, and we are going to do that. Oopsie. And line it up on this bottom piece here. So remember, if you're decorating, you want to put your paper in first before you decorate. It's a little bit harder to slide paper in. And burnish that. And there you go. This is what we just created in a couple of minutes. So this is called a flip flap pocket card. It's a tongue twister, but let's make this look pretty. Let's do one again. So a refresher, and I am using the Doodlebug Be Happy cardstock, and then I grabbed some solids in our stash here to decorate it. So a lot of these items we need to add the paper, because once you start sticking the mechanism, then everything gets covered. But with anything, we want to fold on those score lines. That's the most important. And the nice thing is you just have to fold on them because it's already done for us. There's one piece. Now I'm going to fold my little mechanism here. Remember, this is our mechanism, so you really want to fold those pieces because that's what makes that hidden piece panel come out of that pocket. Okay, and then here is the other pocket. And we're going to score and score and score. That's the panel. We might not use it if I'm using the card base. So here's the thing. If you make it once and you start measuring, keep those measurements beside, because that way then you don't have to try to remember what size paper you need to cut. So I always keep a little cheat sheet. So once again, the first thing we want to do is cut those 2 panels.
You could also write them on your sloppy copy as well. If you're keeping one copy just for yourself, write the paper measurements on there as well so that it's easy to find it all together.
That's right. And then you have it all in one place and it doesn't get lost. I also keep the instructions, and as you can see with the instructions here, I highlight the areas that I knew I might forget. So let me go back to here. Is I highlight, and over here they give you tips on that you have to add your paper first before you put it down or you can't do it. So highlight stuff, because you know when you see something highlighted, you automatically, your eye draws to it. So just little reminders, especially when you don't play with it often and all of a sudden you're grabbing it. So I'm cutting that little angle to create that pocket, little triangles. So now that's done. And let me just cut this one out here. So this is the one, I'm going to do it on this side because it shows here and here. So I'm cutting that across that 2 score lines. Where they meet, you're just doing a little bit of a triangle. So that way when it's folded, it has that nice connection here without that bulk. Okie dokie. Now, let's decorate and cut some paper. Where is my trimmer? My trimmer is on top of the garbage here. Okie dokie. So first things first, we need to cover the pocket and a little piece of the inside here because we don't need a lot. So you know what? Let's use here. I will measure. So let's say, I think 1.5 is good because you don't see a lot of it. So let's do 1.5. Put it in. Oops, that's not 1.5. My eyes are playing with me today. And then I don't go right to the edge. I just lost my ruler because I find it harder to do edge to edge. I like to leave a little gap. I will do edge to edge on this side, but left and right is up to you. If you want to do edge, this piece here measures 4.25. So let's just do that. Let's see how it looks like. So that is going to be right over here. You don't need to worry about here because it's going to be covered, but we need this opening here. So this piece here, is it a true square? It is 4.25. It should be 4.25 too. So let's do 4.25 by 4.25. But I am actually going to go down to 4. So 4 by 4. So I have that white border all the way around. So 4 by 4, if I can. So let me stick those 2 pieces on because knowing me, I might lose these pieces. So this one will go edge to edge because this is where our mechanism is. If I can eyeball it. And this piece is going to go right here with that white border. So I want to see white all the way around. Okay. So that is good. We're going to leave that open. We don't need to decorate our mechanism because we won't see that. But we do need to decorate this piece here because this piece is what's going to pop up and show. So let's put something here. And honestly, if you cover something with paper and it's not shown, that's okay too. You get more use of your paper. So I know I'm not going to use this in the card, so I'm going to cut on this end. And we need a piece that measures, that's 3 by 3 1/4. I should write this down because I'm going to write it right here. So this piece is 3 by 3 3/4, and I'm going to go down 1/4. So that's going to be 2. Hold on. I'm going to cheat here and not use the whole sheet because I might want some of the sentiments later. So I'm going to go 2 3/4 by 3 1/2. So stop at 3 1/2. Turn it. I'm going to use the bottom here and cut it right to that 3 1/2. So that should give me a nice white border there as well. And another thing we need to do is decorate the inside. I'm like shaky for some reason. We have to decorate these two. So since I have so much paper, let's see. I wonder if, because it pops open, you could put one of the cards up on there. Let's see if we can put a card there. Let's put "You're So Sweet," because on the front I could probably put "Just Because," or use one of the 4x4 cards. That's my favorite, is using cut-aparts, because they're a great way to add sentiments. So I'm taking my barcode strip, and sorry, I'm just gonna cut this down. Oh, and it's this one here, the "Just Because." Oh no, sorry. "Just Because" on the front, "You're So Sweet" in the inside. I already forgot what I said. This one needs to be cut down because it's a 3x4 card. So if that's 3, I can cut 2 3/4. So I'm just a little bit of about 1/8 from the top and 1/8 from bottom. Nope. Let's see if that's enough. It's hard because it has pretty hexes on it. So that shows white. Now I have to cut both sides here by a little bit. If you want a bigger white space, you could just go right to where the black is, but I'm really enjoying the little beehives. So that is going to go on this side. But before, I think, hold on, and now I need something here, because that's where you are going to pull and add that pocket. Let's use this. So let's use the yellow side. So I'm just using the 3 sheets of paper I have. So this is 4 1/2 by 3 3/4. 4 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to take 1/4 off each of them, so I have a nice border. So if it's 4 1/2, you're at 4 1/4, and then 3 1/4 is 3 1/2. So here is where you could just cover the whole inside or cut it down because it is the pocket. So that part's going to be cut off. So you know what I'm going to do is just trim this a little bit. And this is how we'll cheat. So over here, it's 2 inches and we want that white border there. So I'm going to cut it to 1 3/4. I will attach this closest to the score line with that white showing. And because this is here, we could use the back side and trim it down a little bit. And that can be for that panel there. That way, because if it's inside, you don't really see it. So we could add this now or add it towards the end. So we need our score. I like to add the pocket towards the end, but I'm just going to add my score tape on it. And this one needs a little bit of a trim if you want the white all the way around, or we could leave it edge to edge. And you can add a notch to this pocket too, so they know it's a pocket, depending on what you're putting in it. I wonder if I brought a gift card with me, and I can show you how cool it is. I'm gonna cut a smidge off here and see if I have that white border. I flipped the pattern paper to the opposite side, so at least we can tell it's something different. Okay, and I'll put that aside. So here, and that's it. Let's start with this. This is our mechanism. So with the mechanism, like once again, we're going to put tape on, score tape on this side and on this side. So 1 on each side. And with the bumps to the top, to the ceiling, put 1 here and 1 here. Peel 1 first off. And this one is going to be attached here. So I like to do it side by side. So the score, the folded is butting against the mechanism. I'm also making sure the top and the bottom has equal distance approximately, so it doesn't look funky. I'm going to take this flap and open the door on top. So now it is attached here. Burnish it with my fingers to make sure. Now I am going to open this up. So now fold it where the score tape is. And I'm going to, so I know it was approximately 1 1/2. So I'm going to do that, which is exactly that pattern paper. And so that works out. So remember, before you take out that score tape, you want to make sure this edge here of the pocket lines up to the edge over here. Okay, so when you're happy with that, actually, I think I moved it. If you're happy with that, you're going to release the score tape, oops, and fold this down on top. Okay, so it looks like that for now, just like that. So here is that piece that will hold that. We're going to add score tape on these flaps. So whoops, I should have done the back side, but we're going to cover that. Should be score tape on the back side because we're folding over. I drew my pencil the other way, and that's why we have a backing to it. Okay, so peel 1, fold it over, peel the other one, fold it over, whoops, and now let's test it out. Bing! Doo-doo! Doo-doo! So we have to add something here on this side, which I didn't tape through. There. I knew I cut it, but I guess I didn't stick it on before I did it. But all good. This is going to go right over here. So this is going to be like a sideways card. So this will be good for a top folding card because it's this way. We're going to add our pocket. And the pocket's not necessary. It's just nice if you wanted to add gift cards, monetary funds, you know, for a present, or if you want to write a secret note in there also, but not necessary. But I thought it was really cute. There, we can add something there because it's cute. So I am going to, okay, two things to decorate this card, just to give it a little bit more wow. We are going to cut the just because. That's going to go on the front of my card. And then I am going to take this bumblebee and we're going to fuzzy cut it really, really quickly. This is where stickers come in place, but so let's do a wonkiness here. I might have to cut this down. Actually, I'm going to cut it down just a little bit so I have some of that blue peeking out for my cover, or you could use the, oh my goodness, or you could do the 4x4 cards. But I thought this message was cute just because, and then when you pull it out, there is a message. Darlene can't seem to cut with her trimmer today. Trimmer's giving her wonkiness. So I'm going to eyeball it and just fix this up. And I am going to fuzzy cut this bee, or you could pick anything. I thought the bee was nice and fast to cut. Isn't this line really cute? Okay, so let me cut these antennas out. Oops, without cutting the antennas off. And this one we could probably put some foam to make it poofy. Where is my foam? Okay, let's add so I'm adding some foam just so there's some dimension to this card. Oh, all these backings. They look like confetti on the table. Put this straight over here. And I think you can, I'm using the very thin squares. So it creates a little bit of dimension, but not too much bulk. And that pocket's pretty nice. It has a lot of volume in the middle. And probably put a sentiment there too. But look how fun. Here, just because, boing, you're so sweet. So cute. Let me see if I have a gift card or some sort of card. Oh, I have my Colonel's popcorn. Let's see. That will do. It's the same size. And if you put that in the pocket, goes in. Ta-da! Boing! And there's a gift. What do you guys think? You like that? So you could put this to cover, but because I did my card sideways, this should work too. Let's do it. If I can find my score tape. All right, let's glue that on. Let's make it a card because You could use it on its own, attach it to a card. It's not limited. There's so much we can do. So I'm going to add mine to a card just so you could see the different options you can do with this maker series. And E2 size, match it up. Doo-doo. There you go, guys. What do you think? Isn't it fast and easy? Boing!
I think the sound effects are key.
I think I learned that from you. Right? We need sound effects. But I love it. You know, this is all I want to do is just keep opening. I think it's so cute. But
well,
do we
when
have
the
time for a quick
recipient
one?
plays, we do. Well, I was just gonna say when the recipient plays with it as much as you do, that's half the fun.
Yes.
Sheila says, I'm glad you are showing us how to make the card. I would have been lost. Your video covers it so much better.
Oh, thank you, Sheila. It's intimidating. The instructions are intimidating, but once you get the groove, you figure it out the first time, it's actually easier. I think they make the instructions a little bit more complicated than it has to, but they need to, right? They need to put on all the steps so people don't say, well, you didn't say you have to do this. So, but I'm glad I could help you do this because this card was the last one I tried to figure out because it looked intimidating, but it was fun. Okay.
Excellent. So go ahead and do one more.
Yes, this one's really easy, and you're going to be like, oh, that's different. So this one here has only 3 pieces, and in your kit, the actual maker series, it gives you 6. So let me just clean some of this, put it aside so I don't get mixed up with all the pieces here. And now we have lots of samples for the store. Look at this. Okay, so this is called the Peekaboo Pocket. And 3 pieces here. So once again, this is the card base. You're going to score on those score lines. And we're going to do the same thing on this one. So you can see that it's not a true gatefold. It does overlap just a little bit. And we have this one here is this little tiny piece. It has 2 also score lines. One side is only 1/4 of an inch. The other side's a little bit bigger. Okay. And this one you're going to keep as like a little Z. And this is your belly band. So really there's not much to this piece here. So let's put it together. In this instructions, the first thing you want to do is, I can't find my highlighter, is score tape here and score tape here on the short end. So not the big side, just the short one. So here and here. And with this mechanism part, you only want the score tape on this side, on the 1/4 of an inch. So here is where my bump is. It's going right against my bump. The other side is my valley to create that little Z, the Z part. And that's all. That's all the score tape. Next, what we're going to do is you're going to, here is a score line. I'm going to trace the score line so you can see. So this is a score line right here. We're going to make sure that this smaller piece has equal distance top and bottom. And it's right against, it's butting against that score line. See where my score line is? It's right here. You're just right beside it. You're going to peel that off and you're going to shut the door. Boom, done. So now it's attached. It looks like this, like a hand waving at you. So there. And the way I teach you to do that way is that way you're not finicking with, you know, where to put it. It just makes it equal distance, and you know that you're not going on top of the score line, because once you go on top of that score line, then it messes up all your folds. So you want to keep it nice and easy. Next thing we are going to do is we're going to close this little pocket here, and you are going to take off these 2 pieces. Just like that. And we're going to shut the door the opposite way now. Boom. And this card is done. So now when we close this opposite door, it's going to push that pocket in. They have it left open. You can for sure close it if you want. But the reason why they left it open is so you can put a gift card in there. But when you close it and open it, it pulls that pocket out. So where did I put my gift card? Did I put it back in? Let's grab it. So you can put your gift card this way. So it comes out, or, you know, a little message. I think this side won't. You can't. You can only do it one way. That's why they left that pocket unsealed. So that's an option for you. But that is it. And you just create a belly band. So with the belly band here is that they've already scored it to the size of your card. And you only want to put adhesive just in a couple of spots. I like to just do one because then you can cover it up with something. Just make sure you're not going too over. But I just do one. Maybe I can fit one more right beside it. And we're going to shut that up. And so it creates a nice belly band just to hold your card close. And that's it. So this was the Peekaboo Pocket. Do you want to see me decorate it? Do we have time for quick decorating?
Go for it.
Okay. So this one here, I think, well, because we want to put pattern paper in there, I need to grab a new one. And I have it right here. So let's do this one more time. Score. So we're just, oopsies. We're just folding on those score lines. And here is where the measuring comes in place. And let's grab my ruler without the bits. We know it's 5.5 this way. And this panel here is 2.5. The other one is smaller, but we know it's 5.5 because it has the same height. This one's exactly 2 inches, so 2 by 5.5. The middle here should be a standard 4.25. 4.25 by 5.5. Once again, I'm just gonna take 1/4 off each of these sides to play. And you know what? Let's just use the same paper and we can make this look pretty. So let's use the dots. I love the dots here. So this is going to be the big part of my card, so the inside, but it does get covered by the mechanism. So it's I'm going to do 4 inches by 5.25. So it gives me a little bit of a white trim. Okay. So that is this part over here. And then we have these two. This one we don't because it's going to be closed off. But we want this part here because it's going to be opened right over here. So let's just go with the opposite side, right? So with this one here, it is the bigger side, so it's 2.5. So I'm going to do 2.25 by 5.25. So that will give me the inside part of this. And I feel so bad, but I love the polka dots here. Let's just, it's hard, right? Cutting paper. Am I the only one that struggles? It's like, okay, what can I save? I think the tags I could omit and use for those. Let's see what I can do here. Hard part is cutting paper down. So I want to use the polka dots here, and I need another piece, this big one here, the 2.25 for the back side. So I'm going to do the polka dots. So let's cut this down to 5.25 first, so I get that height. And then let's do 2.25. And the other side, you could probably do. Let's stick this down, and then we can brainstorm. So here is the inside part. with that right trim. And here is the top part over here. We don't need anything here because that's where the score tape is going to go. So let's do that. So the double-sided tape is here. We don't need to decorate it, but we do need to decorate these two pieces. So I picked my polka dots on this side. And depending on how you want your card, do you want your card to open this way or do you want your card to open this way? There's no right or wrong, but let's change the orientation. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this paper has all these borders. I'm going to try to put those borders on the bottom here. Okay, so this bottom piece is 2 inches by 5.5. We want 1 3/4. So let me start from here. Oh, this was meant to be. So I have a little bit of black here. I could fuzzy
Meant
cut.
to be?
To be
Meant
right?
to be? You did that on purpose.
I did. You think I'm that good. And 5 1/4. And I'm gonna just trim here because I didn't cut properly. There's a little black line here. If you were good, you could have probably fuzzy cut those little scallops here, which you could, but due to time, I'm just gonna leave it as is and add that. Look, those banners work really well there. Just change it up. Great way to use your paper. So next thing we're going to do is the mechanism. Where did I put that? Here. So let's burnish that. Oh my goodness, I am losing everything on this table today. Yeah. Am I the only messy crafter here? Because, oh boy. Okay, so we're creating the Z fold right here. The bump side of the quarter of an inch is where I am putting my double-sided tape. And I need to make sure I'm holding this. This is this way. And there is my score line. We're going to even top or bottom, release the paper. We're going to shut the door, boing, just like that. There is my door. I'm just going to burnish that really well because every time that door opens, it's going to pull this out. We're going to close that pocket. And here is, so before we do that, let's decorate this piece because I won't be able to stick paper in when the time comes. So let's add, we need some pattern paper here. So this is 3 1/4. Oops, 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. Oh, that's a very odd number. And we might want to put a pattern on this outer side. So that's 1 3/4. And it should be the same distance here, which is 3. Oops. Oh, I can't do math today. So let's see. What other scraps do I have here? Okay, let's use some of this to pull in the black from the cover. So let's do 1 3/4. That's 1 1/2. So I'm going down just 1/4 of an inch. 3 1/2 becomes 3/4. I find going down quarters is the easiest math when you're doing borders. I do sometimes like doing 1/16 of an inch. But then, yes, I get looks. And then let's do that big square. So I'm going to do a pattern paper because you don't see it. And let's do the polka dots because the polka dot is only on this flap. Let's bring that polka dot back in. So that is 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. So that's going to go down one. How is that possible? 3 1/4. Oh, by 3, sorry. I knew it's supposed to be a rectangle and I was getting a square shape because I looked at my measurements wrong. And we want to make sure we stick it on the right side. So it should go here. It's misleading, but it is a little bit of a rectangle. We're going to shut that door. And then we're going to shut the bigger door to create that pocket. So peeled it off, have this folded. We're going to fold it down. So worst comes to worst, if you forget to fold it and put it in, you can still maneuver and pull it out. It's just going to be a little bit trickier, but there's always fixes for everything. And let's add, you can add something there. Let's add a sentiment since I have, let's do love you bunches for the front. I'm not going to trim it, but make sure, remember, we're not going to put adhesive on the whole thing because we need it to open. So just the top half is what you need. And I'm going to eyeball and center there, and our belly band. So with our belly band, yes, of course, we need some strips of paper. So let's do it quickly. These two are identical, but we don't really see it. But I find it's easiest if you just cut two the same. One's going to get covered, but then you don't have to do math so many times. So 2 3/4 by 2. That's an easy one. And let's do the blue just to bring in some color. So let me cut this at 1 3/4. We're almost done. 2 3/4 becomes 2 1/2, and I need 2 of them. 1 and 2. Let's stick those on. 2, 2. You can for sure put pattern paper on the back of the belly band, but that's where I like to say made by so-and-so. Or you can treat this as the back of your back, and then you just put it there. But there's a reason why I do it on this side, because you can always cover this seam with something. So let's do it. I know, guys, I'm going to fuzzy cut because I'm going to use what I have here. So I'm going to use this bear because it's cute. And this bear, if you had a circle punch, you could probably put the bear on the circle punch, but I didn't plan this wisely. So bear's going to be my, or we can add a square, but let me just show you. Fuzzy cut. And so I'm cutting this little bear with a little beehive on top of his head. And make sure I don't cut the little bee. And he can go right over here. Here, and because we have what can I do? Let's do happy birthday. I know inside says love you bunches, but hey, this can be for a family member. There is other sentiments here, but I like the color of this, and we are going to do some altering here. I'm cutting the sentiment apart. We're going to add foam to both pieces, so there's a little bit of dimension, and then we are done. So let's do this and that, and let's do happy. I do think this card needs some doodlebug sprinkles. And right over there. Oh, hold on. didn't think of that. I'm so used to doing card belly bands the other way. We gotta switch this because now everything's upside down. This is where Darlene's gonna go. Doo-doo. Everything is possible. Everything can be fixed. I totally forgot I changed my card direction and did it the other way. Thank goodness that I didn't use screw tape. And there you go. There is the Peekaboo pocket card. And here is the flip flap pocket card. So these are the two I did tonight, but just show you the other two quickly that we have. One of them is not decorated. I might use some of the scrap here, but we do also have the pillar pop-up card, which does create a pillar like that. And your little image or sentiment does pop up when it's standing. So that's called the pillar pop-up card. It's one of the easiest interactive cards in the market. And this one is called the Gateful pop-up card. If you joined us for our PJ party, this is the sample I made for that class. You're still welcome to join the Lawn Fawn PJ party hosted by us if you want to learn how to put this card together. But this is called the Gateful pop-up. And it is a gatefold, but also a pop-up because of the mechanism where the middle pops up. So that is my Learning Live tonight. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Darlene. Those are fabulous cards. If anybody has been enabled in the cuteness of Doodlebug, just a reminder that Doodlebug is on sale until tomorrow, and get some good, adorable goodies there. And these Maker Series cards just make things so easy. I didn't pop this up earlier, but Donna says watching a video is so much easier than reading directions, and I think many of us feel that way. So thank you, Darlene, for doing the math and taking us step by step through all of these, and of course for the sound effects too.
You're no problem anytime.
Everyone, you have a wonderful night. Stay dry. Hopefully you can open your windows tonight and enjoy some fresh air. And we will see you back here next week for another Learning Live. Good night, everyone.